So originally I was going to make some title talking about using the words woke and beast in reference to this whole ad block situation, but I thought if I even attempted that, that would probably be so cringy as to create a singularity and create a black hole and suck me right in. So you know what? We're just going to skip right on past that and pretend it never happened. So anyway, welcome back everybody. If you don't know what's going on here, YouTube is doing another little test here where they're messing with advertisements yet again. But this way they've gone about it in a way that actually quite a few websites have done before, and that is blocking people using ad blockers. So if you don't know what ad blockers are, they're essentially a little extension they can get for any sort of web browser, be it Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, whatever it may be. It goes ahead and then just pretty much blocks any sort of advertisements. So the ones you see before videos, those are gone. But in the middle of videos, those are gone. At the end of videos, those are gone. The ones you see on the side and the bottom, those are gone. Pop-ups, gone. Pretty much on any website whatsoever, all those advertisements are pretty much going to be getting rid of completely. The only ones that are a bit harder to get rid of are those that are baked into the web page or the video itself. So think of like LTT when they talking about a sponsor segment on a video. Those you're still going to manually skip through, but although I imagine there are probably plenty of extensions nowadays that could probably do some version of that. But the reason why this is a bit of an interesting situation here is that I wouldn't be surprised if 20 to 40% of people online who are watching things like YouTube use an ad blocker. They're extremely easy to install, are usually free, and generally result in a slightly better viewing experience for a lot of people. So I can see why YouTube now would try to crack down on it, because YouTube itself, not really historically a profitable platform here, especially after the whole adpocalypse situation, although I imagine there's probably been, what, 4 now? 3? It seems to be happening all the time, but advertising dollars are not what they used to be, and I imagine they probably want a bigger cut of that pie. They originally tried to offset this by introducing something like YouTube Premium, which allows you to go ahead and have an ad-free viewing experience on this platform for about, like, what, 10-ish bucks a month, which, I mean, for someone like me who makes money off YouTube, it's realistically actually cost me nothing because I already make money off YouTube, so it costs me nothing. But for a lot of people who have a just regular job here, it could be a decent chunk of change. I mean, it's similar to that of like what you'd find on Netflix or Hulu or whatever video streaming platform of your choice. But with this new testing here has become a bit of a heightened scrutiny around YouTube and any sort of platform that dare says anything against ad blockers, which, to be fair, I mean, I can kind of see the situation for and against really both of it here, and I kind of want to discuss it just a smidgen here. So the people who use ad blockers generally have two main arguments that they're actually going to talk about when it actually comes to promoting the idea of using ad blockers, and that's generally ads themselves can be intrusive to the online experience in general, it be on YouTube or really any sort of platform with pop-ups, annoying audio ads, little things here and there that may obscure content or just impede the flow of the content itself. Those are generally considered very intrusive and very not desirable. And then there's also a secondary concern with a lot of the ads themselves being quite malicious and that they may contain viruses or other sort of malware. But the thing is, when it comes to the intrusiveness of ads, we'll just start with that first part of it, is that realistically, it is technically true they are slightly intrusive on platforms like YouTube, but in the grand scheme of things, it's realistically hardly that much of an issue. I could watch a 2-hour video with maybe a couple of minutes of advertisement and compare that to something like cable, where I had to pay for cable. I mean, it's a lot of time savings there. And especially considering that I had to pay absolutely nothing for YouTube. In fact, the majority of the time, I don't even need an account on here, and I can watch an unlimited amount of videos. That's insane to think about that, even like 20, 30 years ago, where you can have videos of whatever language you want, of whatever topic you want, and you can find it on YouTube for no cost. That would blow people's minds. And the other reason why I even say that is that I feel like we tend to get caught up in this situation in which we tend to be overly negative about everything without considering that the progress that we've made here, even within the short amount of time that people have been alive. The amount of technological advancement that's taken place on YouTube to allow for easy video sharing like this to an unlimited amount of people is absolutely mind-boggling here, especially considering that these things are historically very not profitable and a lot of them have failed. And again, too, if the advertisements are terribly intrusive on a YouTube viewing experience or any sort of viewing experience, just subscribe to the platform itself. Generally, it's not going to be that expensive here, and if you're a person like me who uses a crap ton of YouTube, you easily get your value out of that every month. Plus, then there's also some secondary concerns with if you have a YouTube Premium subscription, technically your time is worth more to an individual creator, so that could also be a thing, but, I mean, that really only plays a small part in my psyche or why I'm a part of YouTube Premium to begin with. Now, apart the malware side of things when it comes to advertisements, and I think realistically when people say that, they're really referring to the old days of the internet where advertisements and viruses were fairly synonymous. It was extremely common to get some very sketchy websites really quickly, or they're asking for credit card information or other sorts of really questionable things. But the thing is, like, realistically, this is not really a thing anymore. Most of the advertisements are usually run through Facebook, Google, or some other advertising agency, and they have some fairly strict quality standards in there. Now, sure, they may slip through the cracks occasionally. Sure, that's always going to be the case here, but by and large, if you practice good internet etiquette, you don't go on suspicious links, you don't click on advertisements, you don't go to weird web pages, you don't put in credit card information on an untrusted source, you have an antivirus, you have Windows Defender, you have some type of firewall, you're generally going to be safe from 98-99% of viruses and malware for the vast majority of time. It is very rare for people here to actually get any sort of virus or malware unless you're intentionally doing it or you're not a very good internet person. I mean, I worked at a computer repair store. There wasn't like geeks coming in here with the top of the end hardware and an in-depth knowledge about computers and with viruses. It was only those who were very tacitly aware of the internet and its capabilities, or those who were fairly old and saw the invention of the computer and of the sliced bread machine. Maybe then they'd be a bit more likely to have viruses. But again, that's because they didn't grow up surrounded and involved in that a huge amount. And I mean, really, the whole generation of this video was the Charlie's or Moist Critical's video talking about this whole situation, and I just found it rather baffling in the sense because they're talking about this whole issues of ads being vile, of them being incredibly intrusive and being this huge impedance on the viewing experience, and he's like, oh yeah, I also watch advertisements on my phone because I don't have an ad blocker on there, and they're not that bad, it's okay, they're manageable, and it's like,
I just can't peruse the internet without an ad block. It feels like unprotected sex with someone completely filthy. It feels vile. Now, on my phone, when I'm listening to music or something on my phone, I don't have YouTube Premium or anything, so I still do get ads, but they're usually pretty manageable. It's only like a 5-second skippable, or a 15-second ad, or a 5-second skippable ad, so it's not that bad. It doesn't bother me that much.
What? So how is it like that the desktop experience is absolutely riddled with the blight of advertisements, and then they're like fine and not that bad on phone? It's like almost two completely incongruent thoughts on here. It's like, are advertisements really just being blown up, I feel like, a lot of the time? Also, sorry about that dog in the background. And I really shouldn't like dog on Charlie too much about this, considering that pretty much anyone who made a video talking about ad blockers, it was that exact same thing over and over and over, and it happens every single time it comes up, because the thing is, the actual conversation around ad blockers is a very old one because it's been happening for many years now. And the thing is that realistically, I feel like if you understood the scope of what YouTube is, how expensive it is, what the actual value you get out of YouTube is, and you're generally being a bit more positive about it, it actually doesn't seem nearly as bad as when these ad blockers start coming around or when they start getting rid of them. Now, easily, my opinion could also change the other way entirely, where when advertisements start taking up 50% of my watch time and they start containing malicious things in it fairly frequently and without any sort of recourse in here, then at that point, then yeah, obviously it'd be like, yeah, you know what, you probably should be using ad block. But the thing is, we're not in that day and age anymore. We're not, I don't think, ever been in that age realistically for a long time. So those really don't make a whole lot of sense for a lot of people now. And the thing is, too, I'm also kind of self-interested in this sense because I would like YouTube to continue to existing down this line. Google has a huge absolute graveyard of things they have destroyed before, and I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube became terribly unprofitable that they wouldn't just quash that too. I know that when I log on to youtube.com that I am engaging in this little thing where I will watch advertisements or I'll pay premium to enjoy this nice, delicious content for absolute eternity. And all I have to do is just give a little bit of my time. But I don't know, that's just kind of my thoughts around this whole little ad block situation here. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments down below here, and if we have enough, maybe I'll respond to it in a follow-up. But beyond that, I want to thank you all again for watching. Feel free to follow whatever platform is your favorite. We got that YouTube and that Twitch. Beyond that, we also have Twitter, Discord if you want to get notified whenever go live, as well as just join the community and have some fun. But I want to thank you all again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.